Hey folks, I'm Patrick from the BreakAway Homestead and welcome to the jungle. So, as you know, I am doing my garden above ground this year, and basically I'm putting pallets down and putting buckets and planters on top of that to place my plants. And well, I'm running out of space and need to make more room. There's only one problem: all these weeds. Now, there's several different ways to get rid of weeds, and I'm going to show you a few examples, and then I'm going to show you exactly what I do for my weeds in my garden. So we're going to end up moving these things here, putting the pallet down, and I'll be showing you my little trick. Of course, the first thing you can use, of course, is your hands. You can use your hands to pull weeds, and eventually they'll come back, but if you continue to maintain those weeds, you can keep a pretty good rhythm on keeping your garden weed free. But all it takes is a few days of not doing that, and you'll see the weeds will come back fairly quickly. It all has to do with the sun, and when the sun hits the ground and it heats the ground and it heats those weed seeds that sit dormant, they're activated and they come up. Another way people control weeds are by propane torch. This is a garden torch. It's got a large nozzle on the end. It's run by propane, and you would basically run over the plant or the weeds with this propane torch, and it would kill the plant by killing the plant above the surface. Doesn't mean it might not. This doesn't mean it's going to kill it below the surface, but there's a good chance it might. Now, another way to control weeds is to cover it up completely and not allow that sunlight to hit it directly or give it the things it needs in order to grow into a full-size weed. Some people use ground covers or mulches. This is just a feedback, as you can see here. But if I lay this on the ground and put things on top of it, it is going to stop the sun from penetrating the plant directly, and it'll receive less sun. Doesn't mean it's not going to get light. It's also going to starve it of oxygen. It's going to starve it of water because it's plastic. And like every mulch, you usually dig a hole, put the plant in where the hole's at, and that's where the plant grows. But around that mulch, no other plants are growing. And that's the point of a mulch or a plastic of some sort. Which also leads me to tell you that if you do have animals and you get feed for them, you should be keeping the feed bag. Now, my favorite method, and the method that's temporary but does work for a season, is using cardboard. Since we're going above ground here, we'll be laying cardboard down on the ground, and what that'll do is it'll block the light, but it will be permeable, meaning that water can get through it or there could be moisture under it. So it's not going to kill everything underneath it as far as microorganisms go, worms, stuff like that. And so this is, again, only temporary because cardboard is a natural substance and biodegrades just like wood does when it's in dirt and mulches and stuff like that. And so I'm going to take you along with me and show you exactly how we are keeping the weeds down and the greenery down in the garden while we build our above ground garden. Come along. So now that we have the area generally clear, we're going to look out for a few things. We're going to take out the hard stuff, pine cones, sticks, stuff like that. The next thing we're going to do is before we add our cardboard to the ground, is we're going to make sure that cardboard doesn't have any plastic on it. Now I can verify that Amazon packages are good to go. You're worried about the tape on the Amazon packages and the fibers that are in those tapes. Just know that all Amazon packaging is biodegradable, and you can just put it down as it is. There's no need to take it off unless it's plastic. So I'm going to clear this area, make sure the boxes don't have tape on it, and start putting down boxes to layer down on top of plants here. So before we start putting boxes down, we're going to add a bonus layer of media to the ground. So later on down the road, next year, next season, something like that, if I could ever come through here and till this garden, it'll have extra media inside of it. Now, like lasagna gardens, you can put things like leaves, leaf mold, mulches, or biodegradable things that can benefit the ground, like a lasagna garden, because essentially it's what it is. You're just putting one layer on the ground to prevent weeds from coming up. But because I have this, I'm going to use it. And what this is just shreds for my office, and it's all regular paper that's been shredded into tiny fine bits, and that's going to go on the ground before I put my cardboard down. Now, as far as layers go, you can add as many layers as you want. Some people might have concerns with the ink on the boxes, but actually the ink is federally mandated that the ink is not toxic, so it can be biodegradable. And there we go. Now we have an area in our garden that's going to be weed free for the season for our above ground gardening. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you want to see more. We'll see you in the next video.